everybody. Welcome to the Edge Confidential. I'm here with Adelle. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We kind of match.
We do.
Unintentionally, but nonetheless. And I don't have shoes on, you guys, but that's a whole other story. So yeah, I don't really know you. I know of you, and I know that you are a powerhouse woman, that you are this strong woman in recovery that lives a very passionate life. And you're very intriguing to me. I feel like I see you on social media and in different circles, and I'm like, wow, I can tell she's a really strong woman. So for you, how did you find your confidence? I mean, let's all hear like how you got into recovery and how you found yourself.
That's a long answer.
I'm like Pandora's box.
That is definitely Pandora's box. I mean, I can tell you that I wasn't always. I went through, definitely the first few years of my sobriety, maybe even the first 5, I was very, very insecure. I had this artificial portrayed sense of self-confidence where people thought I was a lot more confident than I was. But insecurities really plagued me. I mean, I got sober young. I got sober at the age of 20. I checked out of rehab on my 21st birthday.
Wow.
And so in many ways, what kept me sober was stubbornness. That sense of like refusing to ever want to lose at anything, having grown up as an athlete. So a lot of that kept me sober. I was involved in AA. I did have a sponsor. I went through the steps. I wouldn't say I practiced my principles in all of my affairs though. And there was a lot of work that I still needed to do. And I'm forever grateful for everything that my sponsor has done for me in my life. But the first few years, like I wasn't like who you see now. I would say it wasn't until 2019 that I really kind of hit a brick wall. My husband and I were expecting a child, and the baby had a genetic abnormality. And so I had to make the decision on, it wasn't an if, it was a when. We were told that like statistically the children don't make it. I was 20 weeks. And then I grew up Catholic. And I remember the conversation clear as day. I love my parents, but my mom said if I had an abortion, I was murdering my child.
Oh, wow.
So I had to make that decision.
I'm so sorry.
And it hit me pretty hard. It hit me really hard. And staying sober through that, at first was like, okay, I've accomplished something. I somehow made it to 5 years. And then I left the state and was like, I need to run. I said it was a great job opportunity, but honestly, I was running. And about 6 months later, between that and postpartum depression, everything came trickling up to the surface, and I drank. I drank once, woke up the next day and was like, really doesn't have the effect it used to have. Now I just want to die. And I really, I genuinely, I was tired of fighting. It's like all these things that what's the point? Like I went through that period, and I think a lot of people go through this period where it's like all these events that I really didn't have control over. Right? I mean, there's things that like consequences and actions, like I understand that. Things that I can have control over, that I can make different decisions that will have a different outcome, that I get. But a lot of the events in my life, unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of control over.
Yeah.
Right? And I kind of just threw up my hands. I was like, what's the point?
Right. And I'm sure there was thoughts of where is God in this? You know, I feel like when people go through tragedy that they could not foresee, that it wasn't them in any way, that you can question a lot. How did you align with your spirituality? How were you able to get over that?
I went to an inpatient trauma program. I really didn't have any desire to drink. I really, at that point, wanted to just not be here anymore. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And thank God I did. Right after I got out, my husband's other son, whose mother is a heroin addict, had been on the run with him for 6 years. And she got arrested. And he finally popped up. We ended up with sole custody of him.
Oh, wow.
So I went
What
through.
a series of holy smokes.
So I went through, I'm going to be a mom. I'm not going to be a mom.
Wow.
I drink. I want to die. I'm going to be a mom.
Yeah.
So it was like this I felt like I was on a roller coaster. I felt like I had whiplash. And I took a step back and just took some time off. Ended up being a mom full time. Had to catch him up in school. COVID shut everything down. So I had a kid who was 2.5 years behind in school. And then all the schools were shut down. He didn't know us. He didn't know me. He didn't know my husband. Fast forward, I ended up adopting him. We have a pretty cool bond. Our birthdays are a day apart.
Oh,
He's 12.
that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I knew none of this about you. And it just shows you what you can go through and still be such a strong woman, you know, and that these things make you stronger. Like, what would you tell women out there that are going through one of these situations that you've gone through, if they're out there and they're struggling and they don't have that person right now to talk to? What should they do?
For me, I had to walk through the pain. You know, the pain's not going to go away. You can drown it with a substance. You can drown it with distractions, you know. However you drown it, like you can, but it's not going to go away. And the only way it's ever going to lessen is if you walk through it. And I had to walk through a lot of that pain, and it hurt. And eventually, over time, I began to heal. You know, strength for me, like today, what my life looks like is very different. Like I'm strong, I guess, right? That word, because I walked through a lot of that pain, and I chose. There was some point along the way where I refused. I decided to not give up. And I've just refused to give up every single day.
So you're an athlete. So I heard you saying earlier that you were an athlete when you were younger too. And
Yeah.
Okay. What were you doing before when you were younger?
So I did every sport under the sun,
Okay.
but primarily like swimming and volleyball. I had to eventually choose, and I chose volleyball. So I went out to Florida to play, you know, until the Miami scene kind of got the best of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did more drugs in Miami than volleyball, but
You're tall.
yeah.
Yeah. Usually women aren't taller than me, but yeah, you're tall. So I'm sure you're able to.
Because I also jump really high. I used to be able to touch the rim.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Can't do that anymore. Don't ask me.
Okay, I won't.
I am not 19. So, but yeah, once upon a time.
And now you box.
I do.
So let's hear about this, because this is really cool.
Okay, so I've done boxing and kickboxing, like more as cross training, just for different sports, because like the high intensity interval training was great for like volleyball, swimming, whatever. And I had a natural aggression. I'll just put it that way, right? So there was something fulfilling about being able to hit a bag. But I never had any formal training until 2020, and all the gyms shut down. And a mutual friend introduced me to like a legit boxing coach. I didn't know that at the time. I just want to stay in shape.
Yeah.
But, you know, then one day he like threw me in the ring with one of his fighters, and he's like, just try to hit him, you know? And this guy's just playing defense. And I'm like, at 3 minutes, I'm like dying on the floor. I'm like, I can't breathe. My lungs are, I've been an athlete my whole life.
Yeah.
Why are my lungs on fire? I don't understand this. And so of course then I want more, because let's be honest, like I'm an addict.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I like that feeling.
Yeah.
That little extra push.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like right around the time I turned 29 last year, I had the epiphany that I'm going to be 30. And, you know, a couple things brought it full circle. One, it was like, I never really got to see the height of what I felt like I could do athletically. I felt like it was just it's like I was an almost great athlete, but never really got to the point where it's like I reached my potential because I had all these other things in the way. So that bothered me. It's always bothered me. And then like, this almost sounds like a metaphorical, but like having almost given up on my life. Like I've almost found just a sense of peace in like physically fighting, because I metaphorically am fighting every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just reminds me that I'm alive.
Yeah, I love that.
So I told him last year, I was like, Mario, I want to fight. He's like, uh-huh. He's like, go get headgear and a mouth guard, come back. I was like, so, okay. So I went to the store, went down to the fight shop, got headgear and a mouth guard. I was like, all right, what now? He's like, get in the ring. And I was like, okay. So now it's like, oh, okay. Instead of just hitting pads, now somebody's hitting me back. First time I got punched in the face, I smiled. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
So interesting.
I was like, okay, this is an adrenaline rush. I love this. Makes me feel alive. I went through about 2 rounds before I was dying. And so then that just progressed to, yeah, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do that. Okay, what now? What do I need to do? What do I need to do that you'll corner me in a fight? So he gave me told me what I needed to do in addition to what I was already doing from a training standpoint. And that just drove me down the road that I'm at now.
Because you've had legit matches,
so I've had,
fights, right?
2 amateur fights. I do want to do a pro fight. It's really hard to find people in my weight class. So it's hard to get fights.
Because they're usually bigger, right?
I'm a lot taller than a lot of fighters.
Oh, you're a lot taller. Okay.
Yeah.
I envision, these bulky women fighting, and you're not that.
No. So
they're not seeing. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just what I think off the top of my head.
No, that's okay. No, it's been a learning experience for me. But there's weight classes, right? So you've got every 6 to 7 pounds.
Okay.
So from a safety standpoint, you have to be at certain weights.
Yeah.
And so I'm in a weird weight because there are some bigger girls, right? But most of them are smaller. So we had this conversation. He's like, you either need to go up or down. So I chose to go down. And so I'll cut probably 15 pounds for a fight.
Oh,
sometimes.
wow.
Yeah.
That is some discipline. 15 pounds for a fight.
Yeah.
And
I love food. So it really is.
Me
You
too.
have no idea how much of discipline it takes.
I love how stubborn you are, because you're like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it no matter what. So what does that look like? How over what time frame do you have to cut 15 pounds?
Just depends. That's depends on what weight I'm fighting at. So if I really do need to cut 15 pounds or there's a fight at a certain weight that we're looking at, I'll tell him how much time I need. And if I only have 3 weeks heads up and he's, coming to me with something, I'll tell him whether I can or can't do it. I'm realistic because I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I risk my safety or my health. I have an amazing nutritionist, and he taught me all about the macros and how to cut weight. Because I've eaten as an athlete my whole life.
Yeah.
But the fight world and how to eat in that sector,
totally different,
it was a little bit different.
Yeah. How do you keep your consistency and your motivation when you're not motivated? What's your
You just
routine?
do it.
You just do it.
You just do it. There's no, you get really good at talking to yourself, which I got really good at talking to myself. I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. And sometimes it's I pick up my stuff and I walk out the door exhausted. I don't want to go right now, and I'm just going to.
And you always feel better after, though, right?
Not always.
You're maybe not.
No. There's some days where I don't have great training days.
Okay, yeah.
But I think that's life. There's been days where I don't have great days in general, right? But then it's okay, well, then I go to sleep and I do it over again. I know that if I don't keep to my routine, that's when I spiral.
Okay, so how do you have your balance then? Because it sounds like you're going crazy from morning to night.
So that's kind of part of it.
It is your balance. It is my balance. Have your schedule and you stick to it. And
my 12-year-old, he actually boxes a lot with me.
Okay, right on.
As long as he's done all of his chores and everything he's supposed to do.
There you go.
He's allowed to go.
Do your chores.
Yeah. So he has this whole point system that I set up.
Nice.
So yeah, so as long as he's done everything, his grade's okay. He comes. He actually boxes with me. He loves it. Sometimes my husband will come as well. But then on the weekends, we love to do yoga together. Usually the weekends are our time because he works in this industry as well. So the reality of, even if we were to try to block out time in the evenings, he gets calls or I get calls.
Yeah.
So then we just get frustrated.
Right.
So we've learned over time, it's like, what does that balance look like? It was hard in the first couple of years in our relationship because your new relationship, so you like really want to spend all the time like that. You get that kind of almost clinginess to it.
Yeah.
A little bit codependent.
Yeah.
But now it's like we really respect, and I've learned that we are so much happier spending quality time, even if it's less time,
Yes.
but really having quality time together.
That's so important.
Yeah.
That quality time. Turn your phones off, or at least
Date night.
Oh yeah.
So like there's like date night when my parents, they live with us now, and they help out with like childcare and stuff. And so like they have their Friday fun night with like grandparents, you know? So then they've got the kids. And then we have our date night, and I have like, you know, my phone just goes auto.
Yeah.
Like it'll just forward to my admissions team or whatever, or it'll give an auto reply. Like if I'm not available, I'm offline. Like we just have that quality time, you know,
Yeah.
we just try to let people know. And then on the weekends, we usually box together on Saturdays. A lot of times we'll do like sauna ice baths.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've yet to do the ice baths, but I keep seeing it. I need to go do it.
Have you seen it on my
I think I have.
stories?
Yeah, I'll have to find out where you go. I'm gonna go.
It's a private one. You're going to come.
Okay.
You're going to come.
All
Yeah,
right.
We're going to do it one weekend. Yeah.
Cool.
I do it every weekend though.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
I hear like people get this natural high from it.
Oh,
Is
you
that,
do?
like, a real thing?
Yeah. So you do like 20 minutes in the sauna.
Okay.
3 minutes in the ice
I thought
bath.
you were about to say 20 minutes in the ice bath. I was like, holy smokes, maybe not.
20 minutes in the sauna, 3 minutes in the ice bath, and you can do it 3 times. Like it feels really, really good though, because you get so hot in the sauna.
Yeah.
That the ice bath sounds good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you guys, there's all these things that you can do in recovery. Like you can
Yeah.
explore so many different things. There's endless opportunities. Like really just get out there and try different things. Like you're not going to know unless you try, right?
You don't.
You just,
Between that, yoga, there's so many different tools in like my tool shed that I pull on. Like if I'm injured or something, like I go into a yoga class. Like there's things that I can do to constantly be making sure I stay healthy from morning to night.
right. And being healthy, you know, like, working out and doing stuff that has us moving, you know, like there's something to that.
Physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yes.
I gave up TV. So like
Good
about
for
a little over a year ago, I just was like, I'm such a waste of my time.
I need to do that.
I read.
I need to do that. You're going to inspire me right now. I was doing where I would take a whole weekend off. I know this sounds, I feel stupid even saying it, but I'm just going to say it. I would take like a whole weekend off just from social media. Like wouldn't look at any social media for the whole weekend. And I tell you what, like the weekends felt 10 times longer because I was present. You know what I mean? And it like blew my mind. Like it felt like it was 10 days. I'm like, wow. But that's, because I tend to go home a lot of nights and I'll be exhausted and I'll end up like watching TV, right? And at the same time, I'm in my head going, Jenny, get up and go do something, you know? And so you inspire me and motivate me to get out there and be more active and do stuff. Okay, so you also work in the treatment field.
I do.
Okay, and so what is that like for you? Where do you work and how do you help people?
Okay, 3 questions. So what's it like for me? Sometimes very rewarding, sometimes hard. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, it's not always easy, but the rewarding part is why I do it. There's a time where I was burnt out of it and I came back. And really the reason I came back was to work for New Directions for Women.
Okay.
And being able to help women specifically.
So you help women get into treatment for addiction, mental health, and New Directions. I mean, they do. Just if you could kind of give a rundown of what New Directions does, because it's a very unique program.
So New Directions for Women has been around 45 years, since 1977. So one of the few all women's treatment centers that takes women through all levels of care. Although they can enter at any level of care, our goal is to be accessible. So we are in network with most of the major providers. And it's on a beautiful campus just because it's been around so long. It's a really special place. We're one of the few places that has a track for pregnant women. And we also have a small track for moms with kids. And so we can only have 6 for that. But it's a it's a really special population that we get to treat and help.
Yeah, it's needed more, and
Yeah.
and you guys do such a great job over there. And you know, for women out there that are struggling, that are pregnant, this is a place that will love on you and wrap their arms around you and help you through this process. I know women that have gone through there, and it has changed their lives, you know, and their children's lives. So yeah, that yes, it must fill your cup a lot of times being there, but it's also heartbreaking at times too. It's, you know, I go up and down working in this field, so, you know, like
not everybody makes it. I think we know that. But we're there for the ones who do, you know, and we just do everything we can and just try to help as many people as we can. But I wanted to be there and came back into this field really specifically to help women.
So what would you say to women out there right now that are having a really hard time? What would be your suggestion?
Probably the one thing that I hear the most often is there's all the reasons why they may be doing it. If you're going to do this, do it for you.
Do it for you. Don't do it for somebody else. Our kids aren't going to keep us sober.
Do it for you.
Yeah, do it for you. Because at the end of the day, we have to sit with ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the other stuff's a byproduct, right? You'll get the relationships back most of the time. But if you're not doing it for yourself, it's not going to last.
Okay. And where can we potentially see you fighting in dates to come? When, like, do we?
I just fought in March. I don't have a specific fight lined up, but I'm working on it. So hopefully in the summer.
Okay. I need to come to your next fight. So
yeah, I'd
please
love that.
invite me.
I will.
I promise not to bring the cameras with me unless you want me to.
Everybody films, so it's fine. You're welcome to, yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your story. You're very, very inspiring. I just love everything that you're doing. And you have the best smile ever. You really do. You have a great smile. So, all right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.